Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video, and today we are going to do some team building fun here, and we're going to be looking at the Gammas. Now specifically, we're going to be looking at Gamma 2, and we're going to look at his team builds, but I brought a very special guest along with me today to kind of get a JP perspective, and to see the team builds for Gamma 1, and specifically even looking at some JP exclusive stuff over there. We're going to head over to my guest channel, so Minato is joining me today. Minato and I, we do the podcast together. Minato is a very talented YouTuber. I think he's a very underrated YouTuber. I think more people need to sub to his channel. Minato, go ahead and say hi to everyone today.
Hello, gamers. Yes, I am a JP Dokkan Battle YouTuber, and I definitely feel like, you, Joe, definitely deserve the recognition because I love your content that you make. Whenever I'm able to tune in, it's just a very nice thing to listen to for sure.
Yeah, for sure, and I appreciate you coming on my channel. And Minato, for people that don't know you, do you just want to tell everyone like where they can find you in social media if they're interested in checking out your stuff?
So again, you can just subscribe to me on Minato's Flash on YouTube.com. Probably will have to look up like Minato's Flash Dokkan, right? Because Minato is a
pretty
thing.
Yep.
Minato, and we have me on Twitter as well. We have Minato's_Flash, and that's just where you can go ahead and find me. Generally, I'm always either on Twitter or YouTube.
For sure. And I do want to shout out Minato's Twitter. One, just very interesting tweets, very entertaining tweets, but Minato also does translation. So, if you're looking for a translation, sometimes if Goresh isn't around, like Minato might have them. So he's a very, very good follow on Twitter. So I do highly recommend you all check him out on Twitter. So let's hop in.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Just keep in mind, man, I do be tweeting about anime too. No.
Yep. Oh, of course.
For you follow me anyways.
Yeah, super entertaining tweets. Love this man. He'll tweet about food. He'll eat a quarter pounder with cheese and post it to Twitter. Whatever. You never know what you're gonna expect there. But yeah, very, very good Twitter follow. So let's go ahead and take a look at Gamma 2's leader skill. And on Minato's side, so if you're interested on checking out his side on Gamma 1, he's going to do some very red zone specific builds and really give you detailed analysis on those fights, and I jump in there as well on that. On mine, we're going to do more generic just team builds. My video will probably be a little bit shorter on his side, but I want to get his take on some of these units, and we're looking specifically at the global side, so mine won't include units that are just on JP, right? So Gamma 2, he's the first unit on global to get like this multi leader skill where we actually got 3 170s. So we got movie heroes, androids, special pose, and then accelerated battle and worthy rivals will be the 30% there, right? So Minato, before I hop in, what is your take on Gamma 2 just as a unit overall? How do you feel about him?
I think Gamma 2 is a quite powerful unit. I feel like people look at Gamma 1 and, well, a lot of people agree Gamma 1 is the better unit. I think people oversee Gamma 2's overall usability, and they kind of ran him off as just a damage unit. This guy has pretty good defenses, he has a nullification, and he's also a support unit as well. He's doing more than just offense, which is why I really actually did warm up to this Gamma 2 unit from my initial reaction to him. Gamma 2 is quite strong, and he has a very, very powerful leader skill to top it all off, so a great unit overall.
Yeah, and I think actually Gamma 2's nullification, I like his better than Gamma 1's, because Gamma 1's is a dodge counter. So if dodging is blocked, he actually can't do it. And Gamma 2 can actually do his in every fight. So I do think defensively Gamma 2 has an edge there, which it's good then for Gamma 1 that he's more defensive naturally, since he can't dodge in every fight, right?
And then, it's Ki Blast supers, right?
I know, and Ki Blast is like unarmed, unarmed's the other one, but yeah, Ki Blast is freaking like everywhere in the game, right? So, alright, so I've got a couple team builds for you all, and then I'll get kind of Minato's take on these team builds, and then we'll just talk about just some other generic units that could fit in on the team. Because we've got the 3 categories, they are smaller, weaker categories, but when you combine it all together, it's quite powerful. So the first team build here on Global, this is just a full movie heroes build, and this basically you can run with Gamma 1 or Gamma 2 as the lead. You can kind of choose. But we've got, God Goku, who I feel just needs to go on every team that he can be on. As long as he's going to be getting his damage reduction, he's almost a must run. Piccolo is another really good floating defensive unit. And then I kind of like Carnival Goku with the LR Gods on rotation, but it's going to depend on the fight. Some fights might dictate that you want God Goku on rotation, but these guys stacking up, and they link surprisingly well with Carnival Goku as just a base Super Saiyan with like a Realm of Gods unit, I didn't think they would share as many links as they do, but they got 5 out of 7, which is really good. Minato, what is your take on this team, and what do you think of this setup here for Global?
It sucks.
It sucks, yeah. Oh, it's not as good as the JP setup with your Kid Goku, but whatever.
You don't have Kid Goku is bad. But no, I think that's a really good team setup. The only thing is, people will look at it and be like, well, these Gammas and the Saiyans together, obviously not going to link together that well, only really Fierce Battle. But you have to keep in mind, Gamma 2 is supporting 2 Ki and 30% attack, so that's going to help bring the teams together, at least in terms of Ki, and allow you to have a much greater consistency, especially for, the other Gamma 1 that's probably going to... the other Gamma 2, my bad, that's probably going to end up being a floating unit there.
Yeah.
And, if we're just talking about movie heroes, it could be really good. Maybe you could sub in, like, Pycon somewhere in there if you want in certain team builds, because he'll also share some links with, Gamma 1 and 2 himself. But otherwise, I really do like this team build, especially for what global players do have available to them currently. And I think it'll work out very well on difficult content.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you tweeted that this is the best team on Global, did you not?
I would say that's probably the best team on Global right now.
Yeah.
Depending on the fight, maybe you switch out 1 or 2 units. But Movie Heroes is such an absurd team, and the Gammas are really, really good. You just have too many just top tier units on the team all together, right? Like, who here, would you say is not like a top 15, 20 unit in the game? Like, all of them.
They all are. Yeah.
There, right? It's very difficult to say otherwise.
Yeah, and even for the non-Dokkan Fest, you look at this Piccolo and this God Goku, probably 2 of the best banner units you can pull in the game. Just, hands down. Ridiculously good team, right? So let's go ahead and let's look at another team build. So, what I kind of like to do is almost some thematic build. So, one of my favorite things about Gamma 2 was we were finally getting a proper Androids lead. So something that we can finally run the full Androids team together, and the big thing, I don't have them on this particular team build, but I like having the GT17s as an option. So there's that Trenchcoat 17, there's the In 17. You actually could run them as floating supports if you wanted to. But in this team build, what you're doing is you're running Gamma 1 and 2 together, which you always are. Like, they're best buddies. You always want to run them together. But in this particular build, I actually like running the Tech Androids and Jiroa 19 as a rotation. And then your other 2 could be floaters. So I've got God Goku here once again, as long as this is an event where he's going to have his damage reduction. Super Strike 16, which we talked about in Minato's video. It's going to depend on the fight with Super Strike 16, but if he's got type advantage, you want to run him. But otherwise, what I would say a safer bet just for normally is what you'd want to do is you would want to run Hellfighter 17 maybe in this slot. So I'm going to put him there. He's a very good floating support unit. And on the rotations he's floating with 18 and 17, he actually is going to get his full attack passive. But the way I've worded this to people is whatever team you're building, if you're going to do some type of Androids build, I feel like the core 4 of Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Tech Androids, and Jiroa 19, that is an excellent way to start a team because all of those units have some type of nullification, and 3 of them are Ki Blast nullification. So, Minato, what do you think of this Androids build? Do you agree with kind of like that core 4 for starting an Androids team? And what would you do maybe with those last 2 slots if you disagree or agree with this build?
If we're looking at Android specifically, definitely just a very, very good option. I know a lot of people are going to look at that Hellfighter 17 and be like, what is this boy doing, right?
Yep.
You could probably go, and run, let's say, In 16 could be a really good option.
Yep.
Another option that Global and JP literally just got as well. I'm not sure this is too recent for you when you set up these teams, but the Hachan and Android 17.
Oh yeah, yep.
Work very, very well on this team. I'll probably put them over the Hellfighter 17
sure.
personally.
Yep.
Just because I like just tanky defensive units. That's just my type of vibe there. Which is why you even like Android 16. The Super Strike one could be very, very good. But I like this team build for sure. It's really, I feel like people have been underrating the androids a little recently.
Yep.
Especially now that they actually have their team. God Goku's is kind of funny there, but
yeah. He's just like, if he's guarding, you got to put him there, right? Whether he's an android or not. Now, obviously, if we're running like Android Super Battle Road or something, you can't put him there. So another thought for running this team is actually if you wanted to run like a different powerful android rotation. So one idea would be instead of God Goku and say this Hellfighter 17, let's say you do a Cell rotation. You do like AGL cell, and then either int cell, physical cell, or maybe the second form cell, depending on the event that you're doing. They could be a rotation, and actually 17 and 18 and Jiro and 19 as floaters actually can really work as well. Their nullification in slot 3 can still come in clutch. So yeah, definitely think this could be a fun team. Do you have any other thoughts on the androids build, Minato, before I move on?
Not really. The android team is still a little limited right now.
Yep.
Like, I was honestly surprised that, like, Physical 17 didn't get his EZA.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been crazy for this team, but we'll have to wait and see as time goes on. Maybe when we get Dokkan Fest or Carnival or something, Cell Max, that 17 could EZA. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling they might wait for Universal Survival Saga to do him, even though it makes way more sense for him to be with androids because he's actually an androids leader. But yeah, he's going to be an awesome defensive support option, so I'm very much looking forward. The good thing about it, Minato, is that the longer they wait to EZA him, the better, in theory, the better he should be, right? So it'll just be a better buff later on. All right, so let's look at this build. This is going to be the special pose build. Possibly a build that you might try to do for that Cell Max special. So I'm thinking here specifically for that Cell Max mission where you have to get it done with full special pose. But you could basically run like a pseudo Ginyu squad here, right? So once again, you have your Gamma 1 and 2. Raccoon and Goldo, you have to pair them with a Ginyu to be consistent. So in this instance, actually physical Ginyu and not AGL Ginyu, because AGL Ginyu can struggle against Cell Max. But in a normal content like AGL Ginyu, what you do is you just remove Int Ribrianne here and you put AGL Ginyu, and you've got like a Ginyu squad of 4 that's actually very solid. Jason Birders can be a nice support. They won't necessarily support the Gammas, but they're just a nice unit and they can sit and dodge. But Int Ribrianne, I think, is actually somewhat viable in Cell Max. Like, she stacks defense. Not that you're going to have a ton of time to do it, but she can get to respectable levels, and I did have her tanking Cell Max pretty well. Still haven't gotten my special pose mission done yet, but we're getting there. So, Minato, what do you think about running? You could talk about just in general, like your thoughts on running Ginyus with them, and then maybe specifically how you feel like this team fits into that Cell Max mission.
Again, I think it's fine because you have the support, right?
Yep.
That's the thing. That's how powerful support could be. It can help you bring together teams like this that might not link the best, usually, right? It allows you to have more flexibility with that. And I would honestly probably even say against Cell Max, probably just would rather run Ginyu, even though it's kind of
the AGL one. I know.
Type advantage, but he just will do so much more extra damage, and then he can stack up enough to be able to take a little damage on normals, given you have like a lot of dupes in him and stuff like that, right? So I could see the argument for either one there. And I guess just another option I would bring up is the free-to-play Sayman 2/1 unit.
Yeah,
they're actually pretty solid. They have the high chance of dodge, they support special pose, and they're just overall a unit that you can definitely get away with using in some certain difficult content.
Yep.
Probably more so against AGL bosses than anything, but they are an option for special pose. And even Cell Max, right, as a floater unit, if you can like have them avoid getting hit as many as possible times, so that, because like obviously the less times they get hit, the more of a chance they will get obliterated by not dodging, right?
Right.
There's a thing about that. So you could definitely get away with them, and I've seen clears against even Cell Max with them working out, and the support will help the Gammas and the Ginyus tank and do more damage.
Right, for sure. So lastly, I'm just going to end here once again. If you want to check out Minato's channel, Minato, we're going to have the video for Gamma 1. And we do talk about a lot of other side options for both of these teams that can work out. But hopefully this video helps you all out. Minato, do you have any words of wisdom for global players out there before we hop off for today?
I would say just make sure you summon at the end of the day for who you really, really want. Unless it's the Resurrection at Blues. Overall, a lot of these units coming out are really good now. And I think that, I guess another thing with the Gammas, they probably are going to return sooner than later, because superhero content I would expect to return very, very, fast in a sense, compared, since it's like a technically a collab, right? But that's all I have to say regarding that, and good luck on your future summons.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining, Minato. Thanks for joining me today. And then, everyone, please check out Minato's Twitter. Please check out his YouTube. A lot of awesome Cell Max runs on there. A lot of very entertaining tweets. So anyways, guys, hope this guide helps. Check out part 1 over on Minato's channel with Gamma 1. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.